If you're not looking to spend that much or do the DUI option. If you're not looking to do the DUI option, jeez. Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86 and I'm taking a look at some cool budget RAM today. This RAM price is between $50 and $70. It tends to fluctuate, so I don't want to say an exact price. I bought it at $58. It's now up to $66. Not a huge difference, but it's something. If you don't have a lot of money, don't want to have to deal with the DIY heat sinks, check the card, for already existing modules of RAM, and you want to get something that's kind of that all-in-one answer that has some pretty neat features, then the Delta T-Force. Then the Team Group T-Force Delta Series RAM is pretty cool. One thing I thought was really strange was that when Trident RGB came out, when G-Skill made that, they didn't make an 8 gig kit, which was two 4 gig sticks, to make an 8 gig kit. You pretty much had to buy 16 gig kits at a bare minimum, and not everybody wants to do that, and if you're looking to build budget build, still want it to look good, and have something nice in it, then it was kind of like, you know, you had to save up for it. I get it. I personally want no less than 16 gigs in my systems, but some of us can start just fine with 8 gigs. There's nothing wrong with that. You do you. Anyways, let's take a look at this stuff. It's kind of neat. I'm not going to go over too much technical babble, but we'll get that out of the way real quick. This particular kit is two 4 gig sticks, so 8 gig total. It's an 8 gig kit. That way you can run in dual channel at your bare minimum of 8 gigs if you're running a pretty decent entry-level gaming machine. It's DDR4 and 2666 megahertz. Cast timing latencies 15, 17, 1735. One quick note too, if you're interested in being able to overclock it a little bit, it's XMP compatible for XMP profiles and the one-click overclock ability, so you can jack it up just a little bit and make it a little bit better than it is. Now, Team Group has come up with their own RGB stuff. It's a beta program platform kind of setup, so expect issues to some degree. It does say it's OCing compatible. I didn't test it with that, but I can happily say the motherboard I tested it on uses Gigabyte Fusion, and it defaulted the RAM immediately to my color settings with Gigabyte Fusion. So it would seem that it would work on OCing, Gigabyte Fusion, MSI Mystic, and ASRock RGB, as well as their own Blitz software. The software is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, and I like it. It's pretty intuitive and it's nice. You pretty much launch it and it has your color options on the side. It has different things you can set, as well as each individual LED on each RAM. You can change things from cycle to gradient under a couple of the selections you can pick. You can even set it to things like music. We'll cover that in just a second. In fact, we'll cover it right now. So your color option choices are static color, breathing, a color cycle, rainbow, comet, flash and dash, wave, glowing yo-yo, starry night, strobing, and you can set it to music, where you can also select what genre of music it is you'll be playing with it. It's kind of a lot of extra things to remember if you want to swap from like R&B to jazz, which is kind of the same thing, I guess. If you want to swap from R&B to punk rock, you got to go in there and kind of pick different selections to set it, I guess. I don't really know if it actually makes a difference. It doesn't feel like it does, but they say it does, so I don't know, maybe it does. Another pretty cool thing about this RAM too is it operates at 1.2 volts. That's already pretty low, so if you wanted to juice it a little bit more, I imagine you can get away with some pretty decent extra voltage there. Their flagship version of it is pretty nice, and it's all the same stuff as this. Now, there's some hot spotting on the DIMMs, as you can see, and one thing to note about the video recording I did is I turned my ISO down really low, so they're a lot more apparent than they are in person. Don't look at that and think, oh man, it's gonna look real hot spotty. It really doesn't in person. I mean, it's noticeable and you can see it if you're looking at it, but for the most part it's not. As far as in control in the program software itself, I didn't see a way to change brightness, make it brighter or less bright. There is a way to turn it off entirely if you don't want it on, but that kind of negates the purpose that you would purchase RGB light up LED RAM anyways. But again, don't be too concerned that it looks extra hot spotty, because that's kind of me dimming it down so I can show you specific features inside the software more than it is what it actually looks like in person. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not so hot spotty. Just take my word for it. Now, G-Skill, for instance, with Trident RGB did a great job with their diffuser and their bright LEDs to prevent hot spotting, and while you can detect it when you look at it, it's really hard to see. However, Team Group maybe could use better diffuser, brighter LED technology, maybe more LEDs on the actual top where the diffuser is, to kind of prevent some of that hot spotting from happening. Anyways, guys, this is a pretty great choice, I think, especially for the price. If you're not looking to do a DIY option where you're installing your own external third-party one that needs separate power and all that extra work, then this is a good option, I think, especially because if you start with 8 gigs and you want to populate all 4 DIMM slots, you can eventually just get another kit later, and that way you have 4 of them 16 gigs running, and it looks really nice. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I hope you have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video I do. You guys have a happy holiday if I don't see you in another video before then, which I don't imagine that will happen because this Friday will be, and then the next Friday is after Christmas, something with calendars, need to look stuff up. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next year if I don't see you at the end of this month. Have a great day, night, whatever it is. Bye. Always overclock at your own risk. It's like, you know, I'm not telling you to go play with settings or anything, but of course, if you want to, it's fun to do. But don't come back at me if you mess your shit up.